What's going on, everyone? I hope all is well. I'm making this video because I've been receiving a lot of questions about different components that I use on my build and why. I just want to take an opportunity to explain what I used and why I used it and how I made it work. All right, let's start with the engine first. It's a 5.3 engine. I got a TR 224 camshaft in. It's made by Thunder Racing, but Thunder Racing has went out of business now. But you can get a similar camshaft from Texas Speed and Performance, about the same specs as well. Texas Speed has a little bit more lift on their camshaft. I am running a LS6 intake. I chose to go with the LS6 intake just because, well, let's be honest, the truck intake looks hideous, and I wanted to dress up the engine compartment a little bit, so I chose to go with the LS6 intake. Not only that, but adds a little bit more performance. I know might lose a little torque, but if you saw my 0 to 60 video, I didn't lose much. Not much at all, if any at all. But moving on, with that camshaft, I used the Pack 12 18 springs to go with the camshaft. I used the stock rocker arms. I reused them, just make sure they were still in good serviceable condition. I also used some hardened push rods as well. I believe I got those through Thunder Racing as well. I think I got those through Thunder Racing. I could have gotten those from Texas Speed and Performance. I'm not sure. I am running long tube headers. Now the long tube headers, I had to massage those into place. What that means is I had to clearance them to clear the body a little bit, but I got them to fit. I did have them powder coated. I had those powder coated by Jet Hot. As you can see, I'm gonna have to send them back to get them powder coated again. The one good thing about Jet Hot, they have a lifetime warranty on their coatings. So all I gotta do is box them back up, send them back to them, and they will take care of that for me. All right, so injectors. I am running some Bosch style injectors. I changed out the injectors because I had future plans on running probably a forced induction. Let me see if you can see those. Yeah, you can catch a glimpse of it right there. But plan on running a forced induction possibly, and I wanted to go ahead and have the injectors in place. Those injectors at 58 psi, they'll flow 42 pounds. The wiring harness, I chose to go with a PSI wiring harness. The reason why I chose to go with a PSI wiring harness is because well, let me back up. You can use the wiring harness that came with the OBS trucks or SUVs. You just have to repin some of those connectors to make them work with the injectors. But I chose to go with a PSI wiring harness just because, I mean, it's a 1997 vehicle, and I just didn't want to be bothered with chasing down gremlins. But it can work. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can reuse the original wiring harness or use the wiring harness that came with your takeout engine. I mean, it can be done. I just chose to go with the aftermarket wiring harness just to save myself some aggravation and confusion in the event something went wrong. So I am reusing part of the factory wiring harness just because to run some of the factory systems as well. So AC, I do have AC. I used a AC bracket from ICT, and with that, because of the water pump that I'm using, I had to use some spacers to space it out a little bit. Let's see if I can get a close-up of it for you. So you see the spacers right there. That right there required a little trial and error. I ordered those spacers through aluminumspacers.com. Pretty nice people. Got some stuff shipped out to me pretty quickly. Got the compressor. It's a sanden style compressor, 508. Got that off of eBay. It was like $150. So I mean, it works. It keeps the vehicle cool. All right, so with the AC, I got the front and rear system working on the AC system there. I chose to go with the gate style belt. It's got a better longevity, longer service life over your regular standard black belts. I am running a drive-by-wire. Drive-by-wire throttle body. Works pretty good for me. No issues. Let's see what's on my list. Oh, transmission. I'm running a 4L60E transmission. Just walk around a little bit just in case some folks want to see other parts of the engine. Some long tube headers. Running a 4L60E transmission. With that, with the camshaft that I chose, I went with a 3000 stall torque converter made by Circle D. The torque converter does have good street manners. No issues there with drivability or anything like that. One added thing that I did with my, I have my notes blowing all over the place. One thing that I did was I ran a stainless steel line for my transmission, just to dress it up a little bit, to be different, you know. You can see how it ties into the radiator right there. I use some AN fittings, top and bottom. For the transmission coolers, I'm using 2 factory style coolers. I don't know if you can see it through the grill there. 2 factory style transmission coolers. So I got those hooked up. Let me see if I can zoom in. All right, with the transmission, I'm running, got a custom-made drive shaft. Reason I chose to go with a custom-made drive shaft is because the factory-style drive shaft was, it was out around. Drive shaft out of a company out of California. All right, continuing on with the transmission. Got upgraded clutches in the transmission. When I had the transmission built, the transmission builder had it set up where all my shifts are firm. If you go back to watching my video that I did on the 0 to 60, you can hear the 1-2 shift, 2-3, 3-4 shifts are pretty snappy. So pretty quick on the shifts. Not only that, doing hard acceleration during the 1-2 shift, the rear tires will break loose. All right, rear end. Got strange axle shafts in the rear end. Running a Detroit True Track differential, which is a upgraded plus. I really like that unit. I have good positive traction going to both tires. Exhaust, you saw earlier, I showed you the long tube headers, but they flow into 3-inch pipe no cats, going into some Dynomax ultra flow mufflers, true duals. So that's the exhaust note, and it sounds wicked. Sounds wicked. As you can see here, I do have an air suspension on the Suburban. Using air valves from Ridetech Technologies. Haven't had any problems out of those valves. I've had them for many years, no problems. Haven't had any problems out of the air suspension for real. I recently swapped out my airbags on all four corners just because they were starting to show signs of age and start to just like on tires. I mean, they started to crack. So I went ahead and swapped them out. I was going on a long road trip and didn't want to chance busting the airbag on the long road trip going into backcountry. Long road trip. Actually, it was the hot rod power tour that I went on. 2,000-mile road trip. Don't want to be out there in the middle of nowhere and break an airbag or rupture an airbag. As I continue this build, I want it to serve as an inspiration to you to either start a project or to complete out your project. Remove any fear of working on your own ride. You will have great satisfaction seeing your imagination come to life. I would love to hear your feedback on what you saw on my LS Swap Suburban. Be sure to post your comments below, good or bad. And always, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.